Good morning everybody and welcome once again to my humble abode. Today I think is probably going to be my last beekeeping movie, so my last bee movie, and what I'm going to do today is to have a sort of summary of what I've been doing. So the first question that was asked by Danny DK was, why bees? Well, let me show you why bees. I suppose it's probably the easiest thing to do. So look at the wireless terminal here and just type in, for example, petal, if I can spell petal, that is, and here you'll see mystical petals from Botania, and you'll see how many there are, and these have actually all been produced by bees. I had 2 before I started, so that's one thing. It makes lots of difficult things to produce, and it makes lots of them. So let's have a look at emerald. See, I have now 2,678 emerald cones. Usually that produces one fragment like this. And I'll also have 7,000 emerald shards. So what I can do with some emerald shards, for example, is take them over to a crafting table. 63 is a good number. And just lay them out like a nugget. And then we have 7 full-size emeralds, which is quite neat. And diamonds are the same, and the other one's also quite difficult to get in the real world are things like shiny ingots. So let's have a look at shiny. So here I've got almost 7,000 shiny nuggets, again produced by bees, but there are different bees that produce different ones. So let's go over here and have a look. And in this hive here I have, this is produced by the endearing bee, which isn't here at the moment. This is the orange bee. And the endearing bee produces enderium nuggets and endearing comb. So we could take some endearing comb out of here. In fact, what I would like to do with this one is turn it on, but I have to be careful because I don't want the bees to come out of this. Let's just take this bee out of here before that empties out. So let's go over here and see what I've got in. This is full, so let's get rid of this. And I've filled up my inventory already. I'll send some of this stuff back home. So I don't need these. Endearing drops. I think that's probably come from the endearing comb. And I don't need the emeralds either. So let's get rid of all of this stuff and put in these 32 endearing combs. And I always, because it's a magic bee thing, you get quite often magic wax. It does have some uses, but not so many. You can produce like magic hives. In fact, I'll show you that. While this is processing, I want to show you the basic process I go through to produce a bee. It's still emptying out these. It's going to take a few more minutes, but I've got 2 slots, so that's all I really want. Yes. And what I want to do is put this bee back in here. Oops. So the first step is you've got your bees you want to mutate. So here's my mutator, and this particular time I've got a yellow bee here. So if I go and have a look at my beealyzer, actually the bee data bank's the one I want, the Apris data bank, and I look for yellow. And here's the yellow bee, and I can see further mutations. So I've got a yellow plus a red produces an orange. So we've got to guess what this one is, to produce an undiscovered species. So my guess is it's going to be blue. So let's have a look. So here's a blue drone and a yellow princess, and it produces a green queen. What a shock. Now, these bees will produce colour. So here's my queen. So the first thing I can do with my queen is come over here to the genetic analyzer, or genetic imprinter, and I can put these 2 chromosomes on here. So these 2 is the shortest lifespan and the maximum fertility. I don't really normally do this here. I normally wait until it's been split into 2 bees. The reason I want to do it now is for the purposes of demonstration that he'll actually process these quicker. And I did the orange bee just a few minutes ago for the same reason. And you don't want to do that before, before you've actually mutated the bees, you do not want to try to genetically modify them, because it always comes back with whatever it was before. So let's have a look at this with the bee ELISA. So now it's got the shortest life and the maximum fertility. I think 4 is the maximum fertility. And it's as fast as load, and these don't really matter for what we want at the moment. What does matter is the climate, that's normal, and it works during the day. It's not a tolerant flower, and it's not nocturnal. So its speciality is green coloured cone, and then it's got 2 further mutations. Well, I'm pretty sure we can guess what those are, so maybe we take a white one to give us a light blue green bee. I'm not sure what the other one will be yet. So we'll put this into this hive here. Where's she gone to? And in this hive here I've got maximum production, and I've got maximum lifespan, which reduces lifespan by 33%. And the energy usage on this is actually quite important for these hives. It's 602%, so it's using 104 RF per tick, 105 RF per tick, say. So you need quite powerful, a good supply of power for this, for these apiaries. So now, I've now got this orange princess and an orange drone. Now, well, let's just get that out of there. And now what I normally do next, let's turn that back on again, is to come back to the genetic imprinter, and this time I want to do the same 2 chromosomes on the princess and 1 of the drones. And while that's doing that, let's just put the other drone away. In fact, I put him into this storage chest here, and it just gets processed and sent through the analyzer, and we'll end up, excuse me, and we'll end up in this storage unit here. That's where all the bees end up here, all the drones anyway. And you see I've got quite a few drones, so maybe we have an orange one. Not yet. So he's still being processed. So now we have the princess is done and the drone is done. So now the idea is now I maximize these. And this is where I want to put the 2, and this time I put the 2 in here. They are also, if I remember rightly, they're not nocturnal, and they're not tolerant to rain. But I do want to maximise I don't really care about production, but I do want to maximise the number of offspring that this produces. So this upgrade is the automation upgrade. It simply feeds them back into the princess slot and the drone to the drone slots. The seal upgrade allows it to work during the rain, and the lifespan reduces lifespan. And the daylight upgrade is if it's dark, they carry on working. So it works at night and day. So the idea is to get as many bees as possible as quickly as possible. Now here we have already this green princess has mutated and produced 4 different drones and 2 green coloured cones. So let's have a look at these princesses. You see now it's reverted to 2 offspring. So the first thing I then generally do is to come back here and put it through the imprinter again. So I want 1 of those and 1 of these, and I don't care really. All I'm really interested at this time is to maximise the number of drones. And the reason I want the number of drones is so that you can get the species out of the drone. I shall show you what I mean. So in here, I think, yes, I have. Here I have an endearing princess and 130 drones. And normally about 30 is enough drones to do what I want to do next. And here is the genetic sampler. So I put the drones in here. In fact, it would be a good idea to take 1 out. And then this samples them. So let's go back over here and take the next 64. While that's sampling those, you can do 2 at once. We can have a look. So the only thing I'm really interested in here is the species. All of these here I've got, and nothing else you can change. So that's fine. So I only really want the species. Sometimes I want the effect as well. See, this is the speed is fastest, and when I've got these, I'd put them back in here, and because I don't want those anymore. In fact, let's do this as well, because my inventory is full again. I don't want it. The wax, the honey, more wax, or the combs. I want some honey drops here, and that's it. Oops. So this time we've got tolerant flower and speed again fastest. And then I come back, put those in here. They get cooked, end up in here, come out again as unprocessed peas. So still looks the flyer. Put those back into here. You can top this up. Lifespan shortest. Put those together. Humidity tolerance, both directions. Again, lifespan shortest. And usually I get one of these out in about 30 tries. Sometimes it happens sooner, sometimes it happens, actually rarely happens later than 30. Now the other, while this is doing this, let's have a look here. There's another interesting bee I picked up here, the Winsome Queen. In fact, the Winsome Queen was actually produced to produce the endearing drone. So if we have a look at the Winsome Queen, I've got some stone there, what do I want that for? I forgot. Most ignite, monastery. So this has been processed now with the later of the second of the two templates. What it produces is pulverized shiny metal and ender pearls. And it can produce endearing comb and furtive comb. So it's quite a useful bee in its own right. It's flowers again. And here we've got the species. So I need to make some space now. Take the bee out and take the species out. Quite often you get two in a row. So now I have the species. So what I do with the species, first of all I make a copy of it. In here I have a blank template. First thing we do is take a copy of it. I take that out. And then we can apply that gene to this template, and then we get an enduring species. So now we have this species, and then I get back the blank gene sample, so I put it back in there. And then I store both the chromosome, the template in here, and the chromosome, the gene in here. So these are the species I've got, which has got more than templates. So by now, I'm hoping that we will have gone through this process a few times. And we've already got 13 orange drones. And I haven't put the green one in yet. Or did I put the green one in? No, I haven't put the green one in. So this time I can put the green princess and drone in here. I can also add the automation upgrade, take away the production upgrade and put these two in. And now that I've got the species from the endearing bee, what I do with it next is to remove these two and put in this template. And this template's got in it all of the, I think, are the best possible properties. So it's got ignores day and night, so it works day and night. It's got flower type, so that doesn't really matter so much. But it makes eat soft flowers. Speed is the fastest. It works in the dark, so you can actually have this in a cave, underground, anywhere you want. The effect has no effect. Its lifespan's the longest. Its territory is the largest. The humidity tolerifies 2 up in both directions. Fertility is 1. And the reason for that is we don't necessarily want lots and lots of drones. After one we've got the gene, so we can always produce another, so that's fine. It also does the most pollination, so it produces the most flowers. It's tolerant, that means it flies in the day and night, and the temperature tolerance is also both directions too, so you can have it in different biomes quite happily. So I then take this princess here and one drone, put the drone in here. The other drones I will then I will store those away and wait for my BLizer to come out. I'll put those back in here if I can reach it, because I don't need these two either. So now, when these two have been genetically modified, I've got the queen, we can analyse that one quickly now, and you should see this time it's got one offspring. And this will see it's the longest lifespan, fastest production, fastest pollination, has flowers. Territory is the largest territory and it has no effect. And here is so it can work everywhere, and tolerance is both 2 up and 2 down in both directions, both active and the inactive. The blue ones, by the way, are recessive genes, and the red ones are dominant genes. So it's not active, passive, it's the active, inactive. And again, we've got this possibility: Enderium nugget, endearing comb, and mysterious comb. So that one's done, and this one's now done as well. So these two are now finished, and what we now do is we simply put these into a hive. I haven't got any hives. This is a carbon queen. This is producing coal, and quite large quantities of coal. Next one along here, I've got a Invar queen. Well, that's obvious. Invar nuggets. Here we've got a Ferrous queen that's producing iron nuggets. Here I've got a windy queen. Now I'm going to put these two in here. So the windy queen. Let's have a look at this one. It's already been done, of course, and its possible specialities is windy comb. Now, windy comb, let's have a look what windy comb does. Oh, it doesn't show up. That's interesting. Nope. But it does have some properties. Now, all the things here is going to be sent back. Actually, while I'm talking, I'm going to have a quick have a quick sleep because it's night time, and all the power for these is being provided by solar, so it's a good idea to do it during the day. So let's go over back to base and go into the range of. Actually, let's go to Botania, the Botania section, while I'm here, because I want to show you something else as well that's up here. But this time the wireless receiver is in range, so windy. So I've got 17,000 windy combs from don't know how long, not that long. We'll take those and we'll throw these through this centrifuge in a minute. Here I've got another small setup, and the reason for this one, and very annoying. I don't know why it's pulling this to me. Oh, it's probably because of this, but I think it still pulls it to me even with this distance. It's here I've got a huge node, and you can see this node with the head. What's it now? The upgrade I've got onto the helmet. One of the upgrades is let's have a look what I've got here. It's the revealing one, I think. And that shows you the revealing. Yes, it's one of those Thaumcraft things, so you can see the nodes. And the reason I did that is I had a Vis Queen in here which fed off nodes, and I didn't genetically change that. Now the other thing that's interesting here are magic hives, and between magic hives you can have a mana apiary booster. So this will take mana and boost these two magic hives, or any connecting magic hive, to it. So it's so irritating, that thing. Let me just come back over here and put this back in again. We've got plenty of charcoal in there. In fact, I hope that's turned off, because it's not doing much at the moment, is it? Because these 2 mana grass blocks are actually full. But I don't think I can remove this. Let's just change this trigger here. Make it say 30 seconds. 33 seconds. No, 30 seconds will be fine. Now, what I also haven't shown you is I replaced all of the old apiaries for industrial apiaries here, and you'll see here this place is just simply full of flowers now, and also there are normally quite a large number of butterflies floating around. Butterflies you can actually catch. You just need the scoop, and you simply right click on them, but they're quite actually difficult to get hold of because they're usually flapping around and going quite hard. So here we have a lot of industrial apiaries producing stuff. So this one's a diamond queen, it's producing diamond shards and fragments, and this is another one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here, and here I've got a chest. It's going around this chest. So the idea was, if I come down and land on the chest, I'm going to turn this on so everything that goes into here and then goes into the chest. And then I'm going to break that section out of there, and I'm going to come into here and say, make sure that I've got this one set up. This is whitelisting. I want to blacklist these items. I want to whitelist these items so they're the ones which go out. So what's then left in this chest are items that are being produced that are not in here. So emerald cone, manilium nuggets, diamond shards, shiny nuggets, bliss powder, cryothium dust. Yes, there's a bee that produces cryothium dust. And that was that. Redstone dust, energetic comb, which produces redstone, cobalt nuggets, you name it, it's being produced in these hives. So this is the one that actually is the jellied queen, and this is the one that produces cryothium dust. And here I've got a sieve, and the sieve basically simply extracts the pollen. Also I've got a genetic stabilizer. Because this jellied queen is ignoble stock, it would die over time, and I don't want that to happen. I've got the gene, I can always create a new one. And actually the way to do that is to use see, this is the amount of power that's coming in and going out of that. This is for that particular one, and this is set to 2000 max out. And here I've got some space for, well, I've got one advanced solar panel, one resident solar panel providing this, and it keeps it just about topped up, surprisingly. And here I've got some interesting trees, and these trees have been basically crossbred by their bees. So as you can see, this is hill cherry leaves, and this is cherry wood. I never had cherry wood before. This is lime wood. I never had a lime tree. And this is all caused because of my helmet. If I take this off, you can see the real colour of these trees. And because they've been genetically modified, you see, or not modified, they've been pollinated. And here we have larch wood. So some very interesting trees. What's this? This is a willow, and there's a few butterflies sitting on top of it. Look at that. This is amaranth wood. So there's quite a lot of interesting trees here as well. Some of them I've had before, which are, and some aren't. So the forestry ones will change, and the natura ones don't pollinate. So let's have a quick look at how much we've got in here. Already I've got iron comb, leaden comb, ardite nuggets, lapis comb, electrum nuggets, ferrous nuggets, energetic. I don't really need ferrous actually, because I've got plenty of that. I could go and put the other one in here. Go back to the coal piece. And something else, you'll see here's a dragon's egg. The bees produce this as well. And and it also produces withering. You can actually produce wither skulls. So, have I got the wither bee with me here? I think it might be in one of these. That's the draconic one. The draconic queen is producing draconic dust, and then you can make draconic chunks. Endearing queen. Ferris. No, I haven't got it. Must be in here. No, I'll have to go and find her. She'll be somewhere abouts. Now, what else I would like to show you is over you can just about make out. Oh no, not from here you can't. I've got a lot of hives, all rock hives. The rock hives are great because they produce rocky bees. And in here, I've got this thing that's collecting hives. So here's a rather unusual one. This is the deep hive. And you only find this in redstone at about layer 15 in extreme hills. So what I've got is and I'll put this down, because they are quite rare, these ones. And I can break this. And what I'll get out of it is an attuned, where's it gone to? There we are, an attuned princess and an attuned drone. Those ones are quite difficult to get. The one I haven't managed to find so far is the embittered queen, and that's another one of these recipes. We'll put those two in here. I don't need the green. I don't really need the windy. I don't need the wind, so I don't really need any of these bees at the moment. But let's go and have a look again at how I made this dragon's egg. So, it comes from draconic chunks. So the usage of those is you take 8 draconic chunks around an essence of life. The essence of life is produced by sulfur wax, a flour, and glass. It's as simple as that. So the sulfur wax, of course, comes from sulfur bees. So let's have a look. That comes from soul comb or sanguine comb. And I've got sanguine comb because that produces these weak blood shards. And over here could have honeydew from the soul. And this one came from the bloody queen. Or a bound queen. Or the two that produce this. I'm not sure what the difference between these are. Interesting. So then I've got some soul wax. Let's go back to the workshop. I think in the workshop it's probably easier to see. So let's have a look. Yes. Here I have some wither skeleton bone chips. And with the wither skeleton bone chips, let's press escape. Let's have a look at the recipe for those. They came from the withering queen. And the usage, you make 9 of those and you get a wither skeleton skull fragment. And then these, with 6 of those, you get a wither skeleton skull. So there's no more need to trundle off back to the nether, producing almost anything you can get. Glowstone, of course. So let's just take one of these. 64, one step. And let's have a look where this comes from. So that's obviously from glowstone, script box, mana infusion, pulverizers, sag mills, and here we have the lux or the demonic will produce simmering clone, which produces 15% of glowstone dust. So the Lux Queen is produced by an infernal drone and a smouldering princess, and the smouldering princess is produced by a hateful drone and a sulking princess. So far I've got both of those two, so I can produce a smouldering drone, and I've also got the infernal drone because that comes from the nether. Therefore I will be able to produce the Lux Queen. It's as simple as that. It takes time, and it does take a lot of time actually. It's taken me about a month, but the amount of stuff they produce is a lot. Let's go back to the gold boots, just have a last look at how things are going on. See, now I've got 42 green drones and 60, in fact this is the number I want, 64 orange drones. We take those over there, and then just get the genetic manipulation out of it, which I've done already, so I don't really need to show that again. But I just got this in time because I've got one princess. But I won't do this just yet until we've actually got the species. The species is the important bit. Let's put my helmet back on. So, that's that. I hope everything's clear. If not, please let me know. And if you've got any more questions about bees, don't hesitate to ask. Until next time, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing next time, bye for now.